Today on the show, we have Cheryl Lescom, who's joining us today, who's just released a new album called 1953. Thank you, Cheryl, for coming on the album. I had to make sure I had the right year in the 50s. It's a special year, apparently.
It's a special year,
So tell me about choosing that name for the album. What is it about 1953?
I was born that year.
Oh.
So I figured that if, Taylor Swift can have 1989, I can have 1953. I got way more to say.
There's a lot more things to cover.
A lot more to cover, yeah.
Now, on this album, you hooked up with the Tucson Choir boys.
Yep.
And tell me about how that collaboration occurred.
Well, I met Ray about 10 years ago. It's 10 years ago now, wow. And we started writing songs, and we've just been writing over the years. And they're just a great bunch of guys and lady that I've been fortunate to work with for the last 10 years. And just, we just kind of barreled forward and wrote some stuff and took our time and played it and, honed it a bit. And then we did it live off the floor at Phase 1 Studios.
Oh, this album was done live off the floor. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Wow. Now, that was obviously a conscious decision?
Yeah, we wanted
do that?
to. The background vocals and stuff were done after the fact, but basically we did it live out because we wanted to have that feel of sort of a 50s sort of feel to the album. And with the stand-up band, we just wanted to be in the same room together. It's a much more dynamic feed if you have each other to play off of, and then sitting in a booth with headphones on, listening to some track that somebody did 4 months ago. So we wanted to make it live and real. Live and real.
Yeah. Have you done an album like that before?
No, not live off the floor like that. Every other album has been done the way I just described.
So this time you're finally going to try something a little
and with
bit
these,
different.
With this band too, it's just they're so good that you don't have to worry about 15 takes, because between us we've all been in the business so long that we we know what we're doing. So it's not as much it's not rocket science.
Now, I noticed when I listened to this album that a lot of songs are about relationships and complications with relationships.
Gee, there's a cause.
I know that has nothing, blues has nothing to do with broken relationships, but was there a reason why there was kind of that common theme throughout it? Like, was there something introspective about that?
No.
About the content?
No, I guess I think it's just because it's, personal. So you write from, personal things. And so that's what I basically did. I'm not a storyteller as to, I made a freight train out of, I'm more of on a personal level. I sing personally and I tell the story personally. So it's, I have to live it to talk about it.
Yeah. And when I was doing a little bit of background on yourself, like you've had a lot of challenges in your life,
Mm-hmm.
From childhood to divorce to being a single mom to cancer to lots of things. So that's a lot of material.
It is. I wasn't going to write about cancer. I think the next album, I'll write that. I think I'll do a cancer album next time.
So
it'll be great.
So how did you stay positive through all of that?
You have to. What else are you going to do? You keep swimming, And anybody that says, we get to this age, you go through shit. And you just keep, you just climb out of it. And you know that it's going to be a better day. And you're going to have a few years of really good times. And then you're going to have some shit. And that shit is the stuff that kind of makes you the person that you are. Those are the lessons come from the shit. The lessons don't come from the good stuff. They come from the bad stuff. So I think that's a big lesson for all of us. I mean, when you're 20 and something happens to you, it's the end of the world. When you're 60 and something happens to you, it's, oh, well, it's just another day, So I don't take things nearly as personally as I used to.
And what role did music play as you went through all those challenges over your life?
I'd be dead.
Without music?
Without music. No, like I said to you earlier, I don't think music, you pick music. I think music picks you. And I, right from the time I was 2, I was singing to people and just being a little ham. And, I went from a screaming child into a screaming teenager into a screaming singer. So that kind of fits the whole mold. But, I didn't have a great childhood. And if I didn't have music, if I didn't have that room to go to and listen to those songs that took me to another place that was better, then I don't think I would have made it to the teenage years, which was the late 60s, which was more fun than a barrel of monkeys, but a little bit intense sometimes,
Right.
And those lessons were a little harder to learn. And and then, you know, the marriage and my children, and it's just all, you know, part of this wonderful life. I'm really glad everything's happened to me the way it has. It's just, I just feel blessed to still be here.
And you took some time away from music to raise your sons.
Well, I didn't ever take any time away. I couldn't tour as much. So
Okay.
I would have to make things local. I would have to really work in an area where, you know, I could drive home at 2:00 in the morning and make sure the babysitter. I mean, it was an awful lot more work trying to just get work. The only time I couldn't really sing was when I was going through chemo, and my voice was just too dried out. So that was the only time that in 40 years that I haven't been able to do my job.
It must have been torture.
It was torture. It was torture too, because I couldn't eat or anything. I was like, I lost 40 pounds. I looked great. I had a wig on, and people, wow, you look great. And I go, yeah, I look great.
If you only knew.
Yeah, you look great. Yeah.
And at what point did you figure out that music had chosen you?
Well, I think, you know, I started going into talent contests and stuff in bars because that was big stuff in the 70s. And so that was when I was like 20, 21. And I think by the time I was 23, I was working in a bar in Kitchener called the Coronet, and I was a waitress. And you saw a lot of it was a 500-seat room with a great PA system. And back then it was one of the premier rooms in Ontario. And so I got to see a lot of great music, and I really wanted to do that. And when Ann and Nancy Wilson played in Heart, they played at the Coronet, and it was dead, and it was a February 13th night, and it was just 1975 or something, and nobody knew who they were. And I saw them, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing, because like they were just so good, and they were women in a man's world, and they just took it over, and I was just so blown away by what I saw. And I said to Ann afterwards, I said, you know, I really want to do this. Like I'd been going into contests, I'd been winning those contests, and I'd been singing always. You know, Janice, I saw Janice live, and music, like I said, was a big part of my reason for being. And I said, I just want to do this. And she said, listen, you know, don't talk about it. Like, put your tray down, stop screaming orders stop smoking cigarettes, get yourself some vocal training, and do it. Like, do it. And, you know, I thought,
best advice you ever got.
Okay. I quit working, and I got practice hall. I took some vocal lessons for about a year and quit smoking cigarettes, and that was it.
And then it was just,
and then
it was the musical career from that point
forward.
Yeah,
and it was full-time at that point. So 1976 was when I started full-time. 75 was when I got my first band, and 76 is when I quit everything and just focused on just music.
He's my dollar store lover, cheap and easy, like a road map warrior, the way he loves me. You gotta do it for a dollar, do it for a dime, do it 'cause you love me, do it all the time. You're my dollar store home with my dime store ring. Take my heart and soul, and I will make you my king. I'll make you my king. He's my bar stool prophet, sleeping queen size, just a trailer park lawyer, loving wise guy. You gotta do it for the record, do it in a wind, do it on a high road, do it till the end. You're my dollar store home with my dollar store ring. Take my heart and soul, and I will make you my king. Yeah. Ooh, I'll make you my king. And you can bring the flowers, and I will make the wine. You won't have to run for cover. I will wrap you up in these arms of mine. store lover, cheap and easy. Just like a road map warrior, that man is gonna love me. Said I don't need your money, I just need your time. I could live with nothing just as long as you are mine. You're my dollar store hope with my damn store ring. Take my heart and soul and I will make you my king. Yes, I will. I'll make you my king. Said I'll make you my king. I'll make you my king. I'll make you my king.
Now, you once said too that the music business can destroy relationships.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what did you mean when you said that?
Well, because it's the first thing that people love about you and the first thing they hate about you, especially when it comes to the opposite sex of the person, that your partner that you're with. 90% of the time, they've seen you sing or they've seen you perform. They're infatuated. They think that, you know, this is a very glamorous sort of way to make a living. And then they get to be with you. And then they realize that, you know, you're working every Friday and Saturday night. And you're coming home at 3 o'clock in the morning, and no, you don't want to have sex because you're just too freaking tired. And you know, I mean, it's not a glamorous life. It's a hard life. And it takes away every weekend pretty much. And it takes away a lot of time in the summer times. And you know, he doesn't want to sit in the audience and be your groupie all the time. And that gets real old. Around year 2, he pretty much hates everything you do. And then, and then it just gets better and better from there on in. It's true. I mean, I just, you know, you.
So just date groupies and leave it at that.
I never went with anybody in my bands. I think that that's a real problem with a lot of females because, you know, they get involved with somebody in their band, and then if that person, they break up, then there's a bunch of crap that goes around in the band, and then it's just a cancer that kind of runs, you know, wild. But I think maybe in hindsight, I should have gone with musicians because they would be much more sympathetic to me coming home and saying, no, I'm too tired.
Yeah.
You know, but
and when you're out, they're probably out too.
They're out too, yes. But then that would have been kind of tough for the you know, children, and for the fact that nobody makes any money in the music business. So where's that pension? Where is that pension going to come from? I don't know.
Play as long as you can.
Marry a teacher.
Yeah, exactly. Do you have a pension?
That's what I tell all my students. Marry a teacher.
Now, as a woman in this industry, what do you think that is unique that you bring as a woman to the blues genre?
Well, I think women listen to lyrics. Men don't as much. I shouldn't generalize, but oh well, I can if I want to. So that's what I'm going to say. I think that women pay attention to lyrics more, and I think that when a woman writes a blues song, it's a different. Men write about things, women write about emotions. They write about people. I think. I see that more often than not.
And when you talk to other female writers, that's kind of what you've discovered?
It just seems, you know, it just seems to come from a different place, you know? Like, because we're hardwired differently. We're much more emotional. So I think those songs, for me, like it's therapy. Like it's therapy, where I don't think emotionally a guy feels the same way about when he's performing. I don't think they need it as I don't think they look at it like therapy the way a woman would more. I don't know. I can't say for sure because I'm not a man, and that's all I'm going to say.
But from a writing perspective, you think that it comes from a different place.
Mm-hmm. It's the same way with the way people parent. You know, it's like men are, you know, they parent differently than women too. You know, there's more of a hug with a woman maybe than there, and more of a different way of doing things, and that's the way I think we write too. For myself, I mean, everybody's got a different way of doing things. And for myself, I like making things personal because I like to be able to get it off my chest, which is probably, not a good thing, but it works for me.
So is writing for you kind of something that, it's just when a song comes to you, or is it something that you consciously sit down and say, okay, I'm going to write a song today?
It always comes, there's always a line. There's always a line that sticks in my head that I write down, and then I take that line, and with Ray, we come up with something that, but there's usually, it never comes from no place. It comes from some place. There's always something that I'm affected by, or, you wake up in the middle of the night with something, and I'll write it down, and then, go back to sleep. So I've got about a book of just many, many lines of different things that, just little hooks, or just little things that I've thought about, and that I thought, well, that would make a good song, or there's a song in that. So, just write it down, and then work on it from there, just kind of come up with a feel, and, that's my process. Now, it might not be everybody's process. I'm sure that some people start the opposite, where they have a lick, and they have something that, they just repeat in their head as far as, just a riff or something. But for me, it's definitely a lyric. I try to have the hook first, and then work from there.
And is the hook a line, or is a hook a sound?
It's a line.
It's a line.
For me, it is. Now, for the guitar player, it would be the sound.
Right. So at what point do you start putting the sound to it? You say, okay, now I've kind of got the outline of what this song's going to be. I've kind of got an outline of what the lyrics are going to be. Now, when do you decide what kind of sound you want to put to it? Okay.
Like immediately, because I'll just have a line, and then I'll go to Ray and say, okay, this is the line I have, and Ray will come up with something, and I'll say, well, whatever, whether I liked it, whether I, maybe, do I want that for the chorus? Do I want that for the first line? Do I want that for the verse? To figure out the placement of where that line's going to be, because a lot of time hooks are in the chorus, so you want to kind of make sure that the chorus is the anthem, the strong part that kind of takes the song to that place that people, that earworm that people get, and they just can't let that song go. That's where you kind of want to take that, and you can do that, I think. But for me, like a lot of like Guns N' Roses, like that, and like there's a lot of bands that have that guitar riff at the beginning, but that's kind of not where I write from anyway, because I'm not a guitar player. If I was, I'd probably write differently.
Yeah, or some people just play keyboards or whatever
Same
it
thing,
happens
yeah.
to be.
Yeah.
Well, great. Well, I really appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. Thanks for doing this. It's very nice of you to volunteer your time and your efforts, and all of you. Thanks a lot.
Hey, no
It's
problem.
awesome.
So Cheryl's website's at the bottom of the screen, so make sure you go to that and check out all her live shows and where you can see Cheryl play live. And, because you're seeing a living legend here today. And I mean that very sincerely.
That's funny.
And thank you so much for liking and commenting and subscribing to this YouTube channel. And thank you, Cheryl, so much for coming on
Thanks,
the show.
Mike.
Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Great.
I see the future is in our past. It's like some distant memory. Oh, I wish that I could make it last. Ah, but it's not you, it's me. I'm sorry, sweetheart, that I can't love you right the way someone else might do. We're two strangers passing in the night. Ah, but it's not me, it's you. And I know you wanted that wedding day. You wanted anyone to call your own. And I'd do anything if I could feel that way. Oh, but right now I'd just rather be alone. Sorry to say. Do you love someone because they love you? Do you put aside the dream? Just close your eyes and you will see, oh, that it's not you, it's me. I loved you enough to let you go. You go and find somebody new, 'cause life's too short for us to feel this way. Ah, but it's not me, it's you. You close your eyes and you will see, oh, that it's not you, it's me. I'm sorry, sweetheart, I can't love you right. It's not you, it's me.
That's what he has.
You happy with that one? Yeah, solo.